California recently couldn't work out where it had spent $24 billion on to solve the homelessness issue. It couldn't work it out. But their governor, he comes up with statements like this anyway. Let's watch the video.
If there's any good news, and I'll close on this officially, state of California has seen a decline in veterans homelessness. We have a national model. What Proposition 1 did is it reinforced that model, provided more resources to advance that model, and we're very excited to get those dollars to work.
The greasy one getting mocked like crazy over that boast, with many pointing out how California is 12% of the overall U.S. population, but has 28% of the homeless in America.
Many of you know that reporting from risky environments like CHOP in Seattle or street protests, that often puts my safety on the line. Despite having a concealed weapons permit, carrying a bulky item while filming in such situations, it's always been a challenge. That brings me to today's sponsor and the solution to my problem, the Vanish Daily Carry Holster. What stands out about this Vanish holster is its comfort and discretion. It weighs just 6 ounces. It's made from durable Cordura material that's gentle on the skin. Designed to fit 99% of semi-automatic pistols, it's adjustable for right and left-handed users. It features a secure trigger guard and includes utility or magazine pouches. Wear it under a loose t-shirt and it's virtually undetectable. Vanish Holsters offers a 100% money-back guarantee, ensuring a risk-free purchase. Plus, they're offering $50 off the retail price for those who use my special link below. And don't forget the huge giveaway. Vanish Holsters is giving away an $80,000 custom Rocky Ridge Silverado truck to one lucky buyer who purchases by June 3rd. Check out the link in the description to get the most comfortable holster you've ever worn and a chance to win this incredible truck. Another one of my favorite storylines, and we'll get back to the one that you wanted to watch here. Oakland locals blame homeless encampment for city removing traffic lights to stop copper thieves. Don't get rid of the homeless encampment lining the street for 3 city blocks that has been repeatedly tearing out $3, $4 worth of copper line from the wiring running said stoplight. No, we're going to go back to the Stone Ages. We're just going to put in a stop sign. No power needed. That's how we solve all this, folks. We just jerry-rig the whole thing and ignore the fact that things are going wildly sideways in California. Here's another quick video. This is one I've been showing a bunch. Let's watch this one too.
Jumping out of the bush from the roof and onto the street.
Cell phone video captures a disturbed and desperate naked man running across Slauson Avenue on Thursday morning near Edgemar Avenue in Los Angeles.
Oh, be careful, be careful.
The bloodied, exposed man is struck by a driver who never sees him coming. That poor lady, clearly shaken up.
He jumped from the roof over there.
I mean, what do you even say to that? I mean, literally, what do you even say? There's my article. There it is. Yeah. It kind of leaves you with, all right, but I'm reading all these stories and I'm taking in all this information over here. And then leadership is telling me we are a national model for solving homelessness. Okay. Yeah. And then you're going to run for president of the United States. I mean, you folks don't think that's coming. That is coming. I mean, literally, I think we're in that time period. They're going to ask Sleepy Joe, step aside. And Gruesome Newsom, he's up. So he's right now, if you see a lot of the stuff that he's talking about, he's trying to sweep under the rug a lot of the situations that he's going to have a tough time with nationally from the standpoint of people looking around going, yeah, but you got 28% of the nation's homeless population in just your state. So how well is, how about that $24 billion? People are just going to be going down this roadway. But you know what? Keep voting blue. I'm sure it'll work out. It'll just work out. It'll miraculously work out. Just keep voting Democrat, California, because that has gone so well in your favor, right? Governor Gavin Newsom was mocked after he claimed California was the national model for dealing with hopelessness because it's something you make fun of because it is not a true, he can't, we're a national, if you're a national model, It doesn't say a lot about the other models that are out there, does it? No. Yeah. When you've got the most homelessness in your state of any of the states in the United States, what kind of model is that? Yeah. You trying to attract homeless people whacked out of their minds, running across the street, playing Frogger with their lives and, slinging it around. We're just going to run out into traffic here. We're so blasted out of our minds on whatever, gas station bath salts. I don't know what that guy's on, but he's on something, right? Announcing a $3.3 billion fund to combat homelessness in his state on Tuesday, Newsom boasted, state of California saw a decline in veterans homelessness, adding that we have a national model. Okay. All right. The rest of the country survey says, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. What are you talking about? You are just talking nonsense. If you got a national model, I want to see all the other models because ain't none of them working, right? Although California has seen a 30% drop in veteran homelessness since 2012, a 2023 federal report determined that 28% of the nation's homeless live in California. Look over there, don't look here. Look over there, don't look here, right? And people sleeping on the streets in the state accounted for roughly half of the entire nation's total. Half of the entire nation's unhoused population is in California. Daily Mail noted that Los Angeles, which has more homeless people than any other U.S. city at a staggering 65,000 people, saw its homeless rate increase by 9% in 2023 compared to the previous year. California's number of unsheltered homeless, 123,000, is 8 times higher than that of Florida, which has just 15,000. Okay, so there's something to be said for we don't really allow that here. Florida just says no, right? California, just do whatever you want, Hey, by the way, traffic engineers, you don't really need all those stoplights. They're overrated. Just put up stop signs. Put up really tall ones, really big ones, so people can see. It's all good. It's how we're fixing the whole, they're just tearing our infrastructure apart here in Oakland. The whacked out drug zombies that are homeless, they're just going after all of our stuff. Who knew? California barely passed Newsom's $6.4 billion Proposition 1, Prop 1 in March. It's a proposition for which Newsom has raised over $13 million. Opponents of the proposition argued that it was far too costly and would jeopardize funding for mental health services. They've always got something going on in California that requires a bunch of money and doesn't work, right? Requires a whole many millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. And then where does it get you? Well, okay, you can't have a stoplight. I mean, that's so 2023. 2024, we're going to the stop sign. Octagonal in shape, red, white lettering, stop. That whole thing, that's what we're doing. Stop. Yeah. You got to make the determination. You can't wait for that pesky light to change because those whacked out nut jobs in Oakland, living in whatever, in the tent, in the van, whatever, they're just trying to get that next hit. You can't really blame them. They're trying to get that next hit and they're going to tear it out of your stoplight. What Proposition 1 did is that it reinforced that model, provided more resources. Okay, whatever. Newsom was roundly criticized in social media with comments such as, the model. Here's the criticism, folks. We didn't know what we did or where the money went. That's the model. We don't know what we did or where the money went. That is literally one of my podcasts within the last couple of weeks. $24 billion. Can't be sure where it went. I mean, we spent it. And metrics to prove that was good money well spent. Metrics are complex and sometimes you just can't get your hands around what the metrics were because, there's no accountability. There's zero accountability. So, national model. Okay, all right. Newsom is right. We are a national model, but in the negative sense. Let the nation see us as a dire warning of how not to handle homelessness. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. Seattle as well. Just let it go. Just let them live wherever the F they want, right? Just wherever. It's fine. It's all good. Portland. Yeah. San Fran, right? And Newsom is right. The homeless crisis in California has made several nonprofit executives millionaires. I mean, that's the bright side of this equation, right? Some people really made some money off this whole deal and continue to do so. Homeless industrial complex. Representative 𝗪𝗧𝗪, he's a Republican from California. He simply posted on X, "This is the height of delusion." That's where I would probably end up in this conversation. This is delusional. Now, you might say, Sean, but he's talking about the reduction in California veterans from homelessness issues, which is a very narrow, and maybe those numbers are up. But when you start looking at the big picture of homelessness in California, yeah, it's not gone the right direction, right? So you might cherry pick some details and talk about that. But everybody else is saying, yeah, this is the height. This is delusional at best. At worst, it's just outright lying to the public. You're what? This is nonsense. You are talking complete 100% nonsense. And we don't believe you. And I think that's what the rest of the country looks at when gruesome Newsom becomes a candidate for president of the United States. They're like, what? California? I mean, yeah, there's no way we can vote for him. I think that's what happens. Have to wait and see though, right? So in California, not only do you have some of the highest poverty rates, not only do you have the highest homeless rate, you have some of the highest inflation rates, you have some of the highest costs of living, you have some of the highest housing costs. Yeah, these are all just going through the roof. And folks in California, you are on the front line. You are experiencing this firsthand. You've also got the highest income tax, state income tax, right? I believe, or is it top 2 or 3, I think? It might be I think it's hand in hand with New York, right? You know, you've got some of the most expensive living going on because you got to pay for all these nut jobs. You got to pay for all of these programs. You got to pay for all these people who are not working, who are just taking the big old handout. And now you've literally got thousands and thousands of illegals pouring into California because Texas has done such a bang up job of securing the southern border, especially in Texas. They've pushed all that pressure, that migratory pressure by the cartel out to California, out to Arizona, out to New Mexico. That's where the pressure is going. So all this notion about fixing the homeless problem, yeah, no, that is just not happening. It's not going on. Instead, they're lining up to spend billions and billions of dollars more, even though recent audit, $24 billion, basically just determined that California had no ability to really look at the metrics on how the money that they're spending is going anywhere constructively. We just don't know. You just don't know. And it's such a big system, and the homeless industrial complex is so massive that you can literally hide billions in there. And who's gonna, it's a quick, $24 billion. It's chump change for California. And then you wonder why we've literally got stories like, the one we're reading here. We're absolutely making fun of Newsom because the reality doesn't mesh with what he's saying. You're hearing these words and you're going, yeah, but what about, don't go there, Sean, don't go there. Cause you might bring up something that really proves the point, which is that the homelessness issue in California is wildly off the charts. Negative, unsuccessful, not going anywhere. And if you've got a program on the veterans, okay, but hey, let's look at this whole thing, this claiming you've got a national model. How about working on getting together some of the data on the money you've already spent? How about working on showing us clean streets? What about that? What about streets that are picked up that you don't have a whole bunch of nut jobs? What about that? You got communities all over California where that's suffering. Here in Washington State too, Oregon as well. Oregon, lot of states, a lot of big blue run liberal cities have the homeless issue because homeless folks know where to go. They know where their bread is buttered. I can go there and I can get free stuff. I'm down. I go over there and they lock me up. Not so much. Yeah. So does this make sense? Yeah. I mean, Newsom is trying to cover for things that voters are going to go object to and say, no, we don't want him running the country. He can barely run his own state. And he ran San Francisco so well that, it's really looking good these days, right? Yeah, no. You've got politicians covering for their mistakes, for their terrible policy. And then you've got voters in said cities where these folks are elected who just keep pressing that blue button time and time and time again, hoping that at some point in time, sure would like the homeless issue to get squared away. I don't see that changing much. You're not going to change leadership. Why would you change the outcome of the programs that you're complaining about? This is what you voted for. This is what you get. California, specifically Oakland, enjoy your homelessness. Yeah. But in general, homelessness thing, not good. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.